If you've ever tried to create a website for your small business, you probably had the same questions that pretty much every one of our clients have had, and that's, what do I put on it? I mean, you know to put your logo and your colors and probably your typefaces and obviously information about your business, but beyond those things, what do you really put on the site that are actually going to help your site to work for you, to be a 24-hour salesperson? So I'm going to show you today the 10 things that we've seen over the years that really seem to make a difference in just a website being an informational business card online to being an actual sales machine that generates leads and ultimately business or sales for your business. Now, like I mentioned, there's some pretty obvious things that you already know go on your website that are obviously very important, like a logo, but also things like being mobile responsive. I'm not going to cover things like that because, again, that's sort of foundational. If you're developing websites now and it's not mobile responsive, you're really wasting your time. So that should be understood. What I'm going to cover in this video are a little more specific things that you may not be thinking about. So let's get into this, and I'm going to show you some examples of each one of these. So number 10 is an FAQ section, a frequently asked questions section. And this has been done for a while, right? This is not really anything new. But the way that people normally do an FAQ is just to sort of address random questions in their business. What you want to do, though, is find those objections to working with you that you find yourself answering over and over and over, and then go ahead and address those on your website. And this really helps your site to become a sales machine for you because you're addressing those objections before your potential customers even have the opportunity to ask them. So it makes those initial phone calls a lot easier, that screening process of talking to those customers for the first time. It makes it a little easier if those answers to those objections are already on your site. So let me show you an example with one of our dental clients. So this is actually a new homepage for Doug Lewis Dentistry. It's not even officially live yet, but if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see there's a few FAQs. We built this little FAQ section, which you see it's not even, the spacing's a little off right here. So again, this page is not live yet. But there's some questions here that are going to address the specific selling points that Doug Lewis wants to address. So number 1, what services are offered? So number 2 is, how do you handle patients with dental anxiety? And this is something that their dental office deals with quite a bit, is helping patients be comfortable in their office. And so this is obviously something that a lot of people use to object to going to the dentist, and that is, I'm just scared. And so they address that specifically up front. And then, of course, when they talk to people, they have the opportunity to revisit this. And again, the third question here is, your office conveniently located for working professionals? Yeah. And again, they're in a pretty busy downtown area, and a lot of working professionals and college students are right around there. So they can't use that excuse of, well, I'm working, it's too far away. I mean, they're really, really convenient, right? So they're putting those kinds of things front and center that most people object. They say, well, I can't go to the dentist because I don't have time, or I'm scared, or whatever the reason. They're addressing those head on in their FAQ. Now, number 9 is SEO Fundamentals. Now, this is obviously a big, big topic. So SEO Fundamentals, or what we call our SEO Foundations product, we actually have a service called SEO Foundations. It's designed to do those one-time tasks that you need to do on your site that are going to help the search engines understand what your website is about and then better present you in the search engine results pages. So rather than show you a website, we actually have a checklist, and that checklist you can get to in the description. You can go to that checklist. You can use it however you want to use it, but it's about 75, 76 points that we walk through when we look at a website. And this is what we call our foundational SEO tasks. And so those things need to be covered very quickly after a site launches so that Google and the other search engines can start indexing the site correctly, and then obviously showing the site when people search for the terms you want to rank for. Number 8 is social proof elements. Now, when I say social proof, I don't mean testimonies. I'm talking about other types of proof. And so that would include logos of the companies that you work with to show that you're working with some reputable clients. It would also include statistics, things that you're seeing in your industry specifically, maybe how many clients you've worked with, how much money you've saved, how many hours you've saved, those kind of things. But then also media mentions. So anytime you're promoted somewhere in the local news, a magazine article or something like that, you really need to display that on your website. I want to show you an example with Fame Intel. Now, Fame Intel works with rental companies, and they produce software to help with rental inventory management. And so if you scroll down on their homepage, you'll see there's a whole lot of logos here. And if you're looking at Fame to try to see if you want to work with them, well, you scroll down and you see all these other companies that are already working with them. That gives you social credibility. But that's not all they do. If you go below the logos, they've got testimonials, which we'll actually cover in another part of this top 10. And then down here, there's this great little section that gives some stats. And it just shows a few stats about their business and about how they've helped their clients. So this is a nice little feature that, again, lets people see that there's some credibility here. They've had some experience. They've worked with other clients or customers just like them. And it more incentivizes them to work with Fame. So using these social proof elements is very important. Number 7 is easy navigation. Now, hopefully this is a no-brainer, but this is the thing that we see get out of hand really quickly because people feel like they needed to stuff everything in that menu at the top, and it's just not needed. You need to keep it very simple, and you want to lead the users, the potential customers that come to your website, you want to lead them to the things you want them to see first. Don't just let them wildly go through the site because they'll never get to where you want them to get, right? So let me show you an example of this. This is Wayfair Counseling. This is one of our counseling clients, and you'll notice up in the top they've got a very simple menu. Now they have a lot of pages on this site, so they could have created a big, mega menu if they wanted, but they decided to keep it really simple, which we're glad they did, because now users just have a few options. And so let's say that they want to go to the services page. When they click on that services page, then this page serves as almost like a home page for counseling services. And there's a lot of other information here, so they can easily see all the other counseling options right here versus stuffing them up in the menu and getting them confused and distracted. And so now they have all the information they need right at their fingertips. They can scroll through this page, they can reach out, and again, they're not distracted by going to the wrong places. So again, the keeping the menu simple is very, very important. Also, if there are things that you just don't know really where you should put them, that's kind of what the footer's for. If you scroll down in the footer, you'll notice we've got some other things down here like counseling articles. So counseling articles doesn't exist in the top menu, but it exists down here in the footer. But if a visitor to the website doesn't end up going to the articles, that's okay because we really want them to look at the services and the rates and speaking and training and the other things that we put in the menu. So primary things, you want to put those in the menu. Secondary things, put those down in the footer, but ultimately try to keep everything as clean and simple and direct your users where you want them to go. Now, one example of that actually brings us to our number 6 feature, and that is lead contact forms or lead capture forms. Now, most sites will have a contact us form. That's not exactly what I mean. So a lead capture form is more specific. You're giving a particular offer to the client and asking them to take you up on that specific offer to capture the lead. So this could be like a lead magnet where somebody is downloading a PDF or some kind of white paper or participating, signing up in a webinar or a seminar of some kind. You're giving them something in exchange for their email. So that's one example of a lead capture, but it could also be capturing more information so that you can give an estimate or a quote, or to have a 15-minute phone consultation. So it gets a little more specific than just a general contact form where people might just ask you random questions. So this is an example of a company that uses a variety of lead capture forms, and it kind of gives something for everybody here. This is a landscaping company here in Alabama. And you'll notice front and center that as soon as somebody lands on this site, they see a form to the right, just a let's get started, ready to speak with an expert. This would assume a user that's come to the site that they immediately know they want a particular service and they just want to talk to somebody, but maybe they don't have time to call, maybe they don't want to call, they want somebody to reach out to them. So very simple, not a lot different than just a contact form, except there's no open-ended message here, right? So the second kind of form on here is a get a quote form. So if you click get a quote, that's going to take them to a little more specific form where, again, they choose the services that they're interested in and they can ask some questions. So this kind of broadens it a little bit, gives people some additional options. Now then there's a third kind of form on here, and this little thing follows you on every page. It's just a real quick need help form. And this need help form gives them the phone number, the email, and again takes them back to get a quote, which this get a quote form is really the form that we want people to fill out. Now, the one thing that they don't have yet is the white paper piece. So ideally, and we're working on this, we would want a pop-up of some kind. We would want some way to come up to say, hey, we're entering into the spring or the summer or the fall, and here's some considerations you need to take with your yard. And we want to give you this free paper, but we want you to give us your email first. So we'll send it to you, and then now they've captured somebody's email that's interested in caring for their yard, and they can begin marketing to them. So again, those are ideas surrounding lead capture forms, which are very, very important. Now, number 5 is simply adding an About Us section or an About Us page. Now, that's one of those things that you should already know, but we're going to talk about this a little bit differently, because in recent years, Google has put out that they are, one of the things that they're really looking for is expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness, what they've called EAT, the acronym EEAT. And Google is looking for that representation on your website. And one of the key ways that you demonstrate to Google that you're an authority is by having a well-built About Us page. So let me show you an example of what I mean. So this is Brightmark Health. This is an interesting concept. This is a concierge doctor, Dr. Wu, who's a fantastic guy, fantastic doctor. And he has a small group of patients. And this is a kind of practice that doesn't get involved with insurance. So it's just a cash-only kind of operation, which actually makes his services a lot less expensive than some others, simply because he doesn't have to deal with insurance. But one of the things that's obviously really important for him, both as a doctor but with this model, is to explain who he is. And so if you scroll down on his website, you'll see there's an About Us and Staff section right on the home page. And so this gives you some foundational information about who he is and then also his staff. But if you'll notice, when I scrolled down, there was a video like front and center of him talking about himself, letting you see who he is, get to know him before you ever schedule an appointment. So this kind of thing is what I mean by really building out and focusing on your About Us section or the About Us information on your site. He also has an About page, which again, he gets into the mission and philosophy. He goes into the benefits of working, shares his bio. Then down here, again, you've got this really warm connection, no bots, no AI, real people answering the phone. You've got a really friendly smile over here. So again, really taking this About Us concept to the highest level that you can with videos and pictures and bios in multiple places across the site. Now, your industry, your business may not lend itself to this quite as much as a primary care doctor like this, but it's still very important to let your customers or potential customers know who you are and who your team is. Number 4 is simply reviews and testimonies. And again, this is something you should already know, you should already be doing, but so many of my clients don't do it. So they really focus on getting Google reviews, which obviously is very important, and maybe even Facebook reviews. But they're not putting those reviews on their website. So the testimonies give your customers an opportunity to tell their stories and specifically to tell how you helped solve their problems. So they are incredibly important. And they go right along with that social proof idea that we talked about earlier. You really need to put these reviews all across your website. Let me show you an example of how to structure these and a site that's done a really good job of both getting and posting reviews. Now, this site sells a supplement that a doctor, local doctor, actually developed. They created it, and they market it, and they sell it. And it's a brain power type supplement. You see all the benefits you've got up here, all the things that it could help. Now, they have a testimonials page simply because they have so many, but if you scroll down on their site, you'll see there are testimonies just scattered throughout the site. I think there's testimonies on every page of the site, actually. So if you go to testimonials, I think there's like 27 testimonies on this page, but I want you to see how they're structured. Very simple. There's 4 parts. All right. So you have a title, like a headline. It's an attention-getting headline. You've got stars. You have the actual review. And then you have sort of a signature. It's letting people know this came from a real person. Now, they did not want to divulge the individual's names because honestly, if you read some of these, they get really personal. So they just put their initials, no pictures or anything like that. You can totally do that. I think the more personal, the better in most cases. Because this is health related, I kind of get it. But if you can, put pictures, put the names, put the businesses that they're associated with, that kind of thing, just to show that these are real people. But what I really want you to see here, and this is what people normally don't think about with reviews, is look at the headlines. The headlines really get your attention. So just in the top 3, mom of 2 boys, no more brain fog, feel better about myself. Those 3 things can identify with a massive group of people, right? So you've got a huge target market that you're going after. And somebody is going to probably be able to identify with any one of those. If not, then look at these. Balanced moods, calm thoughts, enjoyable days. Who doesn't want an enjoyable day, right? So these really resonate with really anybody. And there's one here that's incredibly powerful. If you scroll down here, literally saved our family. Now, if that doesn't draw you in to want to read this review and figure out what is this brain food that works, like nothing's going to, right? This is incredibly powerful to use those headlines, those attention-getting headlines as part of your testimonies. So be sure to work that in as you get reviews from Google and Facebook. And just when you ask clients, ask happy people that you've worked with, you've solved their problem, ask for a review. It's very simple to do. Do it over time and you'll collect a lot of them. Again, I think there's 27, 28 just on this one page. Now we're coming into our top 3, and these 3 things are probably all controversial, especially this next one, and that is pricing transparency. So I've talked to so many clients who wonder, should I put my prices on my website? I'm in the camp that believes you should. And in fact, I'm going to show you our pricing structure on our website at westoverweb.com. So if you go to services and go to WordPress support, you'll read all about our WordPress support and what we do. But when you come down here, you've got pricing just immediately. So these are 3 of the packages that we offer to some of our clients. And we have other packages that we put together. We do a lot of custom packages because web support just kind of lends itself to that. Like people need specific help. So our bread and butter, the thing that we do for most of our clients is this $95 a month basic WordPress site support. And for most small businesses, that covers it. Now, we just want people to see what they're getting, how much it costs. And then when we talk to them, we don't have to go through the pricing or explain the whys or what they get. It's all right here on the website. And then we have a couple of other packages here that we offer. We help our clients a lot with email and DNS. And obviously, honestly, those are very connected. Email and DNS. If there's an email problem, it's usually a DNS problem. And so we offer a package that covers that as well. But I like the pricing transparency because it just helps get the conversation going. It also pre-qualifies people. If somebody sees these prices and say, well, I can't afford that, well, then they don't bother calling us and we don't have to waste our time or theirs. Same thing with web development. So if you start pricing out website development, it is all over the map. You can find people that will do it for $300. You can find people that will charge you $30,000. And so we wanted to say where we fit, like where our website pricing usually starts around $3,500. Now we've done cheaper sites, we've done more expensive sites. It just depends on the site. Most of our clients are kind of in this range, this $3,500 to $5,000 price range. So again, we're pre-qualifying people because if they see this on our website, they know this is either out of my budget, or maybe if it's a large company, they say, well, maybe this company's not big enough to handle our project. Now, we have done large projects for large companies, but normally those come through referrals, so they don't come directly from our website. So this really accomplishes what we want it to. We're working with the kind of companies, the size companies that we want to work with, and that's people who are willing to pay that $3,500 to $5,000 price range. So the pricing transparency helps on a lot of levels. Ultimately, for me, I think it builds trust. I think it goes a long way towards building trust. Now, you might be in an industry where you can't share your pricing, you don't want to share your pricing, and your competitors will just totally undercut you. So in that case, you're probably not going to put a dollar amount on there. You might put a range of prices on there. And I'll show you real quick a company that did this. So this is CD Dirtworks. This is an excavating hauling company, and this is an industry that the pricing changes quite a bit, and there are huge price ranges depending on where you're located in the country. So they're actually a really good example of a company that probably doesn't want to put very specific prices on their site, but they do put some ranges. So we actually developed this little cost calculator for them. So people have this question, how much does excavation cost? So we're giving these really large ranges here, right? But that still helps people to see low end and high end. And then down here, there's just some more specifics about the kinds of excavation and the price ranges. Again, these are massive price ranges, but still helpful. And then there's a little cost calculator that we created where people can put in the length of their lot, the width, the depth. They're able to choose the kind of soil that they have and put some other details in here and get a pretty accurate cost estimate. So there are a variety of ways to demonstrate pricing transparency. This is another good one. So our number 2 feature is call to action buttons, or it doesn't always have to be a button, but usually it's a button. So a call to action, or a CTA, is just the action words that you put on your site. You're telling your potential customers what you want them to do. And I can't overemphasize how important it is to tell people what you want them to do. Tell them the next step. They've come to your website, they kind of know who you are, they've read some testimonies, they've seen social proof, like they want to work with you, but now they need to know what's the next step. And honestly, some people are a little hesitant to fill out a form or even make a phone call. So you need to invite them into that and tell them specifically what you want them to do. And not just with the typical call us today, right? It needs to be more specific than that. So I want to show you an example of a company that uses a variety of CTAs and show you that they picked a specific path and they've stuck with it. So this is a landscaping company, and they figure that most people are going to find them using their phone. They're going to find them on Google Business, go to their website. So they just wanted buttons, calls to action that people could click that would then lead directly to a phone call. So that's what we created. So we've got phone number here, call us for an estimate, and notice, call us, view all landscaping services, that's a button. So learn more, call us. Throughout the site, call for an estimate. Multiple times, people are seeing call us for an estimate, call us now. So what that's helping people to see is, oh, if I want to work with them, I just need to call them, right? So I know that sounds so simple, but it really is a very helpful way to draw your customers in, build trust, let them know the expectations, and then give them the next step. Now, they do also have a contact form, and we've got this form put in a variety of places, but you'll notice that we don't really direct people to the contact page anywhere. In fact, the only way that they would know to get to it is just to click contact, because there is still a pretty large percentage of people who are just going to click on a contact form and reach out. But ultimately, we want to drive people to click that button and make a call. Now, there are a lot of other ways to do calls to action. This is another one of our clients, Commercial Polygraph, and they've got a variety of call to action buttons here, but the primary one is this schedule an appointment. And so this actually goes directly to an appointment calendar where they can choose a time and a date and even make payment, and that's actually controlled through Calendly. They can go directly here and choose the day, the time, and even make payment to schedule their polygraph consult. But again, throughout the site, this this is a call to action. The let's get started goes to the same place, goes to schedule an appointment. So I would change that to schedule an appointment as well. That way people know exactly what they're clicking on. There, of course, are request information. That's going to send them to the contact us page. And then schedule a polygraph examination. So schedule an appointment and schedule a polygraph examination. Very similar, right? They accomplish the exact same thing, but one might resonate more with another. So really think through your calls to action buttons. They are the literally the next step, the first step in getting people to work with you. All right, so now we're down to our number one. And again, people are going to argue about what is most important on a website. I think they'd have a hard time convincing me otherwise on this one. But number one is you need to have and state a clear value proposition for all of your users. And it needs to be the first thing they see on your website. So a clear value proposition is very simply you telling your potential clients what you are best at. Right? And it doesn't have to be specifically your service, but the actual problem that you solve. So you might have a lot of products and services, but what is the actual benefit that you're delivering to your customers? Like that's the thing that you need to put front and center, because ultimately when somebody chooses to work with you or buy from you, they're buying the benefit more than they're buying the actual product. And that's just sales 101, right? It's what every car salesman's been taught. You sell the benefits, not the features. And so I'm going to show you an example of a site that does a really good job at this. Now, this is obviously a roofing company. The name of the company is Higher Roof Solutions. This is a relatively new client for us, and we help them rework some of the verbiage on their site. And so the real value proposition that they're offering is raising the standard of roofing excellence, right? Raising the standard of roofing excellence. So when people work with roofing companies, especially if you've worked with a roofing company in the past, a lot of times they have bad experiences, the mess, the cost, the hassle, all of their problems even after they install the roof. So it's an industry that's full of professionals and full of people just trying to make a living, and maybe you aren't great at roofing. So what Higher Roof has done is they come in and say, look, we know you've had troubles with roofers in the past. We're going to raise the standard here. So we're going to raise the standard of roofing excellence. They've got these amazing drone videos that show the kind of work that they're doing. And then they've got some very specific verbiage here. Higher Roof Solutions are your premier roofing experts in Birmingham, right? With years of experience and a commitment to excellence. We specialize in providing our customers top-notch roofing solutions tailored to the needs of the Birmingham community. Now, so that's a fantastic statement that demonstrates what they're trying to accomplish. Now, I also want to show you, in addition to being on the home page, we've got these statements on every other page on the website. So if you go to just roof replacement, again, quality roof replacement, well, why? Right? What's the big deal? Every roofing company claims to do quality roof replacements, but what's the real benefit? What's the value proposition? Well, it's to protect your home investment, right? That's really ultimately what the roof does. It protects your home and it protects the investment of your home. Try selling a house with a roof that's falling apart. Like, you're not going to be able to do it. You got to replace that roof. So again, this is really focusing on something that's valuable to the homeowner. And every page does this. So we go to roof repairs. Again, a lot of people do roof repairs. Well, they do expert roof repairs. Why? Again, to protect your home, right? Look at roof inspections. Same thing. Professional roof inspections to prevent costly surprises, right? So again, when we see this, we go, hey, I think somebody needs to look at our roof. We come here. That's exactly what I want. I want to prevent a surprise. I want to prevent something that's going to cost me money down the road. So again, you are selling here, and they are selling the benefit, the value, not just the product and the service. And I believe this is the most important part of your website, and the most important part of converting visitors and users to actual customers or clients. And so creating all this content can be a challenge. I mean, it does take time and you need to invest time into doing this. There's a lot of sections on this website, a lot of content that's created specifically for conversion optimization, but that's also created for SEO. And so how do you go about creating all this stuff? Well, we actually have a video that shows how to generate content using our AI prompts. Now, I know AI is all over the place. There's a lot of AI prompts out there. Our prompts are designed specifically to help you create this kind of content. So check out this video and learn how to use AI correctly, learn how to use the prompts to generate the content for your site that's going to lead to greater business.